Many thanks for staying with us. Now let's turn attention to poverty eradication. Today, more than 700 million people live in extreme poverty, struggling to fulfill the most basic needs like health, education, and access to water and sanitation, to name a few. For those who work, having a job does not guarantee a decent living. In fact, 8% of employed workers and their families worldwide still live in extreme poverty. The World Bank also earlier this year projected that the number of poor Nigerians will hit 95.1 million in 2022. Now, to further expatiate on this issue, we have Mercy Ndubueze. She is founder S4 Initiative, and she joins us now virtually. Thank you for joining us, Mercy. Mercy, can you hear me?
Hey, can you hear me?
Oh, yes, we can. Good to have you on the show. Okay, I think some audio issues there, but of course, we're talking about the SDGs, the 17 SDGs, talking about poverty eradication, zero hunger, collaborations, partnerships, and of course, looking at education, all of these issues that make for a good and healthy country. Looking at the fact that when you talk about education, Nigeria is still topping the list when it comes to out of school children in the world. These are issues that need to be dealt with. The World Bank has predicted over time, talking about how more than half of the population is living below the poverty line. And they keep saying that this figure would be increasing even on a yearly basis. And we don't seem to have what it takes to drive these figures down, to reduce these numbers.
I think she's back with us.
Hello, Mercy.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes, so let me start by understanding the drive. Why this goal, or why this objective of seeing to achieving these SDGs?
Okay, thanks for having me on this show. So for me, I like to see S4 as my baby, right? It's like my passion project, is what drives me. And while growing up, I won't say like I grew up in a very disadvantaged home, but I won't also say that I grew up with a silver spoon. But then growing up in the environment where I grew up in Ajegunle, somewhere in Lagos, I realized that a whole lot of children, a whole lot of young people are marginalized. They don't get to have the same opportunities. They probably don't have access to quality education, and even those that have talent, they don't get to have the same opportunities as other people to showcase that talent, to even generate wealth for themselves and their families. And then when S4 Initiative started in 2016, it was stay smart, stay safe. And then I was just looking at the education aspect. I was like, oh, if we can educate people better, then they could probably be in positions where they have better opportunities to have a better life and then contribute better to the society. But then somewhere along the line in 2018, at the height of insecurity issues and all, I was in a conversation with some colleagues. In Nigeria alone, we have like high rate of unemployment. You have a lot of graduates, some with even first-class degrees, and they don't have access to good jobs, right? And somewhere along the line, they either find themselves in very disadvantaged positions, doing things they ought not to do, right? So for us, we then identify that, not just education, but empowerment. Education and reorientation will go a long way to helping people have the right mindset and approach to things. But empowerment would take it a step further by giving them like a springboard, right? That's extra advantage to achieve their goals, and that's what's been driving me ever since.
All right. Let's talk about the factors that actually lead to poverty. Almost half the population of Nigerians are living below the poverty line, according to the World Bank, and this figure keeps increasing. And they have also predicted that it would increase in 2022. What are the factors driving us down the poverty line?
Okay, so at the very root cause of poverty, is what I would say is at the very root cause is lack of education, right? Because education sort of empowers you to deliver more value. And you probably must have heard about this common saying that money follows value, right? So when you don't even have value to offer, then there's almost no money you're getting. But aside lack of education, you know, lack of an enabling environment. So one thing I've discovered about Nigerians are very resilient. You know, they are they are very entrepreneurial as well. But when you have like an environment that does not foster business, that does not even encourage business growth, when you have an environment, where inflation keeps increasing, there's food insecurity, even those that like a salary earner, yeah, if you were earning 300,000 a month in 2017,
Okay.
currently, if you are still earning that 300,000 currently, it has lost over 30% of its value,
Yes.
right? So having not having an enabling environment, and also, in as much as I don't like to blame the government, I will also say bad leadership has 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 affected us more, right? Driven us further down the poverty line,
Okay.
right? So yeah, those are the things I would identify. But at the base of it is lack of proper education.
Okay, you've spoken extensively on how education, impacts on the poverty rate in the country, but I'll get your thoughts further on that just after this commercial break. Please do stay with us.